What is up, guys? Sumi here with ThoughtCast, and I'm going to talk about how to deprioritize your ex-partner, right? A lot of times when we get out of a breakup, the number one thing that people fail to do is deprioritize their ex, and that is what stops them from actually beginning and accelerating the healing process. See, when you go through a breakup, you're naturally going to feel depressed. You're naturally going to feel upset because it has hurt you. You feel betrayed, you feel let go, you feel rejected. Everything that you imagined to be your life is not there anymore. And the thing about breakups is that they're extremely pressuring because the past of what you knew of that relationship to be can also be seen as a lie, especially when someone cheats on you. You're like, was it even real? And the future of what you were going to have with them, the family, the kids, the white picket fence, whatever it might be, is now something that you have to now readjust. It's very, very difficult to go through a breakup because it puts you in the present. And oftentimes we think in the future, we think in the past, and we're in a constant oscillation of the time. So when we go through a breakup, we are forced to really think in the present in order to avoid the pain of the breakup. But human beings don't necessarily do it. That's one of the best things about being human, that we're able to think about the past and look at the situations before, and we're able to look at the future and extrapolate what could happen. That's what allows us to be successful as a species. It also holds us back in emotional turmoil. So when you're going through a breakup, the number one thing you need to do is learn to deprioritize that situation and that person. This means getting rid of the photos. This means blocking them if you need to. This means letting go of all the things that remind you of them. See, I'll speak personally here. When I went through a breakup that was very difficult, I had to move out of my own place because I could not imagine staying in that bed alone. I could not see the kitchen counter without imagining that woman's face there. It was very difficult for me to do this. Now, I lived in a very nice penthouse, so for me, it was a downsize, and it didn't necessarily hurt me financially. For a lot of you, it might not be realistic to move and relocate, but for me, this is what I had to do because I was in such pain. So you have to remove anything that reminds you of that person. At the same time, while you do this is the initial phase, you need to learn to prioritize other people and other situations. I'm not saying you got to go out and sleep with 20 people and do this, that, and third and party and drink. That's actually the opposite of what you need to do. There is a spectrum here. You need to learn to socialize and get more positive affirmation and more confidence in the interaction with other people. Now, the dating market right now, the dating market in general after a breakup is very difficult because you don't have the right mindset and you may not necessarily know what to do. You might be a little bit rusty. So it's important for you to take your time with yourself. The first thing that you need to do is deprioritize this person. You need to let go of anything that reminds you of them, because what people don't understand is that when you look at a photo on their Instagram and you stalk their profile, your brain is wired for visual connection. 60% of the neurons in your brain are wired for visual connection. So when you look at that person, your brain thinks, oh my God, this person is here. And it stops that healing process immediately. The moment you look at them, the moment you're triggered by them emotionally, it restarts that healing process. And it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to even begin the heavy pain of the healing process. So most people are just too weak to even go through that process in itself. And that's the thing. If you're too weak to go through the breakup, you're too weak to be in a relationship. This is the truth in life. A lot of people think I'm harsh for saying this because they lead with love. They're so quick to go into situations that will better them, but they're so scared to handle the difficulties when things don't go their way. This is why people are not built out for business, because in business, everything goes wrong all the time. Things are just not working consistently, and you're fighting against the entire market, against employees, against people, against partners, so on and so forth. Business is very difficult to operate, and what you must understand, breakup is a business. Breakup is literally a business of you trying to get yourself back, trying to cultivate that sense of personality. A lot of times, you put so much of your happiness in the foundation of that relationship that now you don't know who you are. So you need to let go of whatever that was, whatever version of you was that relationship version, and start to deprioritize that relationship in itself. So we deprioritize by letting go of the emotional triggers and the stimuli that we have and reprioritizing new things. Concurrently, what you must do is elevate. You must improve your life. You must inject positive habits. Instead of reaching for the bottle, reach for the weights. Instead of eating some snacks, eat something that's nutritional. Get on a nutrition plan. Go to the gym. Start reading books. Start focusing on your business. Start focusing on yourself. The number one thing that will grow if you put attention and focus on yourself is yourself, because attention and focus is what allows things to grow in life. If we put attention and focus on our health will improve. If we put attention and focus on our business, our financial situation will most likely improve. And if we put attention and focus on our ex-partner, our feelings of rejection, our feelings of sadness, our feelings of insecurity, our feelings of loneliness, our feelings of confusion, our feelings of sadness, anger, so on and so forth, will only grow because that situation was not good for us. You cannot get positive results from a negative situation. So learn to deprioritize that person. Stop stalking the social media. Stop going through the Instagram and looking at the follow requests and seeing who like what post, because I have been there. It is one of the darkest places to be. You have to let go of this phase because it's one of the most detrimental phases. And I'll tell you this right now. The number one phase is deprioritization. A lot of times, by isolating ourselves, we learn to deprioritize, but it's something that you should not do for a prolonged period of time. Deprioritization also involves you socializing, and healing also involves you being around other people, whether they're random or they're friends. You need to surround yourself with people because a normal person likes to be in social situations, but a depressed, sad, fresh from a breakup person does not like to be. So, in order for you to get to a person that is a normal person, you must do what normal people do. When you don't want to go out, when you don't want to interact with other people, you need to do that. That is your conscious calling you to do things that you don't want to do. Do what's uncomfortable. Fight the urge to sit in bed and cry all day. That's a part of it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that sometimes. That is healthy to be in those emotions, to really feel them. But at the same time, you cannot let them consume you. You cannot let them become the master of who you are. And you must learn to let go of the situation in order to get a grasp on who you are and your growth for the future.